Good day and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today we are continuing our ongoing coverage of the civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia. Today, over the last 24 hours, we have seen more than 6,000 Abiy Loyalist captured prisoners of war being paraded through the main city, the capital of the Tigray region, Mekelle. Again, those forces were captured in the ongoing battles that took place near Kobo and south of Kobo towards Weldia. And again, many of those forces were captured with the capitulation and surrender of the 11th Abiy Loyalist Division based near Kobo, including elements of the Republican Guards as well. In other areas, fighting continues near the vital road junction just south of Sekota and near Sekota itself. Both sides are very aware of how important gaining control or keeping control of Sekota is. The Tigrayan Defense Forces continue to maneuver their way around Sekota, looking to envelop those Abiy Loyalist forces that are continuing to rather tenaciously defend the area near Sekota or Sekota itself proper. We do know that the Tigrayan Defense Forces have maneuvered both to the north and to the south and to the east, and it's highly probable if we have seen past tactics that have been used by the Tigrayan Defense Forces, they will also be maneuvering to the west of Sekota as well, looking to completely seal it off, cut it off, and then defeat the Abiy Loyalist forces in the city itself. And that's going to open the main road down towards Lalibela. And again, Lalibela is probably even more crucial as it allows the Abiy Loyalist forces to reinforce the areas near Sekota. This main highway is really the only highway that leads down to the B-22. If Lalibela is taken, and that would mean the Tigrayan Defense Forces can attack along the B-22 highway both to the north and to the east as well. And then it would ultimately open up the Kashina Plateau for the Tigrayan Defense Forces to move into and take control over as well. But very heavy fighting is continuing both near Sekota, east of Sekota, and north and south of Sekota as well as we speak. So very important military objective for both sides. Again, both sides are continuing to move forces in with the goal of maintaining control of this area towards the northwest of Weldia, where much of the main body of the Tigrayan Defense Forces are attacking. That is their main body of advance in terms of what they're attempting to do in terms of seizing control over, and that is eventually, obviously, that would open the door. Weldia would then open the door to Mercer, Desse, and Kombolcha. But I would think at this point, again, the Tigrayan Defense Forces are hesitant to move further south until they are able to secure Sekota and Lalibela and the Gashina Plateau, as if the Abiy Loyalist forces continue to maintain a significant force posture in these areas, that then continues to allow them to threaten the rear area of the Tigrayan Defense Forces, and you could see a possible move or an attack towards Korim, and then that would cut off the main body of the TDF, which would be further south from the Tigray region proper itself. So again, we'll continue to monitor that very closely as fighting continues. In other news, we continue to hear about fighting taking place near Addark. We continue to also receive reports from the Abiy Loyalist side that they have taken control of Addark. We cannot confirm that. And unfortunately, the Abiy Loyalist side has often made incredibly erroneous claims about certain success in the ongoing conflict. And what I'll do is I'll zoom in and kind of show you, the viewer, why DRK is so important for really both sides. So right now it is a defensive redoubt for the Tigrayan Defense Forces and prevents Amhara regional militias and Abiy Loyalist forces, the ENDF proper, from moving into what would be central Tigray from the south. This is the B30 highway, kind of runs in a north-south direction. You have Shire up here, one of the main cities of the central, north-central Tigray region. And then the Shire then connects through the B30 towns such as Aksum, Adwa, and other areas as well. And then eventually you get to Addark, and then further south from Addark is the capital, Mekelle. So this was a part of the invasion route in the initial campaign by the Abiy Loyalist forces to invade the Tigray region after they canceled legal regional elections under the auspice of COVID-19. Now, let's have a look at a DRK and why it's so important. If we zoom in, it sits on a mountaintop, and it is very, very easy to defend. The areas around a DRK, especially to the west, are also very, very high mountainous areas. And we do know that the Tigrayan Defense Forces are very well dug in both areas near a DRK to the west and to the east of a DRK as well. And they have reinforced this vital road, this B30 highway that leads into the Tigray region. And then you have you have other terrain features as well, such as bridges and what have you, that also are vital for the Tigrayan Defense Forces to continue to protect and defend in case of an all-out invasion into the Tigray region from this south-central region. And if you kind of back up a little further here, you're kind of in as you move to the southwest of a DRK. You have Addark, Dabat, and it's really kind of the power base of the Amhara region as you get closer down here towards Gondar. So both sides see it as a terrain feature and or a town that has to be secured. It would both prevent the invasion of the Tigray region, also from the Abiy Loyalist perspective side as well. It would also prevent a possible Tigrayan Defense Force invasion going the other way if, in fact, the Abiy Loyalist forces were to seize control of a DRK as well. But again, we don't know at this point who actually controls the town. The last report that we had received, it was in fact under the control of the Tigrayan Defense Forces. And again, these areas that are this terrain that you see, this mountainous terrain, is the type of terrain that the Tigrayan Defense Forces prefer to fight in. Once you cross the B30 highway, it does still continue to be somewhat mountainous, but not as mountainous. And then as you continue down the B30 highway, it eventually levels off into what could only be defined as gently rolling hills until you get up towards Shire to the north, which is, we'll back out here where everybody can see it, which is a fair clip from a DRK. I mean, you're actually now in northern Tigray as opposed to southern Tigray. But again, you can see the differences in terms of the terrain in south central Tigray versus once you cross into the Amhara region. and then it becomes much more mountainous, and that's why this town is so significant for the Tigrayan Defense Forces to hold. Would it be the end of days for the Tigray region if this town were to fall to the Abiy Loyalist forces? No, it would not be. It would not be something that would jeopardize right away the Tigray region. Obviously, there are secondary lines of defense inside of the Tigray region as well, and the prospect of a all-out invasion, given what is occurring near Weldia and near Kobo at this point, those areas right now are probably more of an interest for the Abiy Loyalist forces to get things in good order towards Kobo and Weldia, rather than looking to move into central Tigray from a DRK at this point. But that's what we know about the situation as we speak. Outside of that, again, very, very difficult to get information on what is happening. Obviously, there's no internet access. The ability to use cellular devices in these areas is very, very difficult, and thus getting information, quite literally, it takes some skill to acquire accurate information on what is happening in some of these places. So we're doing our best, and we're trying to get as much information as possible, but unfortunately it just tends to be incredibly difficult to ascertain said information. But right now, all eyes are looking both at DRK and then at the same time what is happening south of Kobo within the areas near Weldia, Sekota, and Lalibela. The heaviest fighting right now is occurring in those areas, and then obviously with those 6,000 prisoners of war, all of which were captured near Kobo and north of Weldia, obviously is the centerpiece right now of the ongoing war, and this is what we're really kind of paying attention to right now. Obviously, fighting continues in Western Tigray, but again, getting information, accurate information about what is occurring in these areas is very, very difficult. We've heard reports of additional ENDF or Abiy Loyalist forces surrendering in Western Tigray as well. So again, we can't confirm that, but those are just reports that are coming out of the region. It would appear that whatever that offensive was towards Shiaro, again, as I talked about prior, has been stopped at this point. So again, most of the attention right now is on the fighting that is taking place near Weldia, Sekota, and Lalibela in the kind of northeastern quadrant of the current theater of war. But again, thank you for joining us today, and we'll have more to come very, very soon as we continue to monitor the situation. And as always, thanks for joining us, and have a good day.